Here we are, it's Friday night. We're in the E53 on our way back from the parts store. We just picked up a starter. We're going to go put it in the old E39, put the intake back on and fire it up. Hopefully everything's good to go now. So we're going to get right to it here. We're putting the starter in. I pulled the intake off in a previous video. Now this starter job can be done without pulling the intake, from what I understand. I've actually done it on a X5 without pulling the intake, and it's the same engine, so should be able to be done if you can get the wires off the solenoid by feel, or from underneath you can get a better view at the bolts, I think. The starter's held on by a couple of E-Torx, E10 or E12, I don't know. I grab my whole E-socket rail every time I got to deal with them. And I just used a flex head ratchet, as you can see here. When I took the starter off, they were really tight, so I had to use a breaker bar. The other thing to note when taking the starter off is it gets really stuck on the locating pin, so you may need to use a pry bar or a flathead screwdriver and pry that thing off. You'll notice here I just kind of worked it back on there without any tools, and then tightened it. So I just put the starter in, missed all that good footage I guess. 13 millimeter holds on the main starter cables, at an 8 millimeter and a 10 millimeter. These two wires are different sizes, so you can't really mess it up. Well, I suppose you can if you try hard enough, but you can see different size nuts on the back of the solenoid there. So this breather hose was in several pieces by the time I got it off. I replaced it because it was broken and they had a piece of hose connecting it. A lot of very brittle plastic on this machine. It just pushes on and clips into place. Clip, clip. So that is for the crankcase vent system. Got another one for the bottom of it here, going up to the valve cover. Right here. And this is my old one, part of it. Also got several other pieces of these two lines, so it was time. Clip, clip. Pushes right on. Alright, check our gaskets. Got our new breather line on there. Stuff out of the way. Okay. So the rest of the video you can kind of just watch me finish putting the intake back on. So like I said, this is the second time I've done a starter on one of these M54 equipped vehicles, and both times I've replaced the starter, it did not fix what I was trying to fix, just by coincidence. But it's never a bad idea to have a fresh starter in, and I really needed to replace the crankcase vent system hoses and vacuum lines, and you know, we're just trying to make this E39, trying to make it right. So we're installing the intake nuts. They're 11 millimeter. I used my magnet because I kept dropping them towards the back there. The one on the very back's a little hard to get to, but it's not too bad. There's a little bracket on the bottom of the intake. It's a 16 millimeter, so you have to tighten that down. For more details on the whole intake job, you can check out my intake removal video. Brand new parts for a brand new machine. So I had ripped that intake boot on the removal. Pretty much everything rubber and plastic on this car is old and brittle and comes apart when you touch it. But we're finally getting everything back to how it should be on this thing. So hopefully soon we'll have a engine light free, good driving, proper E39. In the back, hooking up the battery so I can fire it up, and there it goes. Turns out I forgot to plug in the little valve on the back of the intake for the exhaust air pump injection vacuum line thingamawatchy, and that tripped a fault code for the air pump. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to click subscribe and stay tuned for more of my E39 and E53 tinkerings.